There once was a young chef who was obsessed with rarity. She journeyed the world, searching for ingredients so exotic, so rare, they had never been combined. She spent years in pursuit of complexity, believing only the difficult could create true magic. One day, weary and empty-handed, she returned home to her grandmother's simple, quiet kitchen. Her grandmother smiled, but offered no comfort. Instead, she placed 4 items on the worn wooden counter. The chef frowned. "Grandmother, I searched continents for my answer. Where are the spices of the East? The rarest honey? This is merely flour, water, salt, and butter." She only pointed to the pile of ingredients, her eyes holding centuries of wisdom. "You seek magic in the distance, my child, but it rests here. You must first learn to honor the gifts." She began to name them. Here is wheat, the gift of humility. It asks for nothing but soil and sun, yet it feeds and sustains the world. It teaches us that our greatest strength often lies in our quietest duty. Here is water, the gift of consistency. It always seeks its level, it adapts to any vessel, but its persistence can carve mountains over time. It teaches us the power of showing up, day after day. And here is salt, the gift of worth. It is small, easily dismissed, yet without it, all flavor is lost and all food is worthless. It teaches us that even the smallest presence can hold the greatest, most necessary value. The young chef, still skeptical, began to combine the 3 gifts of the earth. The process was hard, the mixture was stiff, and her mind, still full of grand ideas, hurried the process. She hurried, for she saw no magic in this struggle of flour and water. Her grandmother stopped her hands, which were moving too fast. She introduced the 4th gift, the beautiful, rich butter, the gift of the heart. "You treat these gifts with a rushed mind and a closed heart," she chided. The butter teaches us that generosity must be given completely, folded into every corner, so the very core of the food is warm, rich, and yielding. The chef slowed down. She kneaded the golden richness into the dough, patiently, mindfully, but the lesson was not finished. She was then told to spread the richness wide, to stack layer upon layer, dusting each with flour, and folding the entire structure in on itself. She saw how the simple act of layering created the promise of many futures within one piece. The act of pressing and rolling the dough again was a lesson in refinement. It was the knowledge that true depth requires repeated effort, that richness must be carefully secured before the final promise is revealed. She realized the effort she gave, the time she dedicated, the presence of her hands. That was the ingredient she had missed on her global journey. She let the buttery mass rest, a quiet pause that allowed the generosity of the butter to fully permeate every strand. She then shaped the pieces, not with haste, but with respect for the golden fate awaiting them. Finally, she brought her pieces of dough to the hot oil, and as they hit the heat, they performed their final, brilliant miracle. They didn't just cook. The layers separated, they rose up, they swelled, and they turned into an incredible, mesmerizing gold, a perfect blend of airy lightness and buttery substance. As she tasted the finished piece, crisp, rich, and deeply satisfying, she finally understood the truth. The magic was never in the complexity of the ingredients. The magic was in the covenant of simple things, once they were given patience, layered with effort, and treated with the full generosity of the heart. She had searched the world for a unique treasure, only to find that the greatest gold was waiting for her at home. May we all remember to honor the simple foundations in our own lives, for they hold the greatest comfort and the deepest truth. The renowned chef Kale sought the secret to the perfect, layered loaf. He asked the old baker Finn, who replied, "The formula is flour and butter, but the true ingredient is time." Kale rushed home, quickly layering the dough. But his bread was dense. He had not waited. Finn advised, "You must not hurry the butter. Layer the dough with patience, then allow the time to seep into the folds. You cannot rush perfection, only prepare for it." Kale finally understood. He slowed his hands, layering and resting the dough deliberately. When he baked it, the heat released the layers in a spectacular golden puff. He learned that the greatest recipe is a parable of patience.